Welcome to another edition of Random Videos, and I genuinely feel the title of this channel should be Welcome to My Sad Talks, SCD said, which is obviously a take on sad topics that I cover, uh, which are not really optimistic, but they tend to be thought-provoking. At least that's what my subscribers tell me. I hope they are not lying, but in today's topic, we'll be covering homelessness. Although I recently wrote a blog post on this. If you haven't checked it out, it's fine. I'll shared it on my in the description below. So uh, it's about how we are always looking for something which we don't have. People who have home, who at least understand the concept of home and who are at home, like you are genuinely at home in a house, which is, I feel, one of the greatest fulfillment that you can have as a human being. Because even birds and animals and insects, they are constantly looking for home. They are moving from places to places. They call it migration. They don't call it migration. We call it migration. They move and keep on moving, and maybe that is the very essence of life, where you are constantly moving, looking for something that most probably you will never have. Although I dwelled a bit on it in the blog, and I feel that it's incomplete, because if you are going to talk about sadness in particular, then it's going to be incomplete. If you're going to talk about homelessness, it's going to be incomplete, because anything that in in all practical terms, uh, not content, is bound to be incomplete. The topics which tend to have happy endings feel complete, because as humans we seek things which is like the whole of us, like which makes us feel complete, right? And that's why the blog is incomplete, and that entire topic is incomplete. But it begs a very important uh, question, that why we do what we do, which is something which I've often touched upon on this channel, that whatever it is that we do, why do we do it? What is it that drives us? Like, what exactly makes us want to get up and do things? Whatever it is, like, no judgment. Whatever it is that we do, why do we do it? So, uh, I believe that this question is also a part of the whole canvas, where you ask someone very simple uh, uh, question, and they give you answers, and then it becomes a series of question and answers, which lead to a point where you feel that I found uh, you know a better insight. But that's not necessarily the case all the time. Sometimes you just do things for the heck of it, right? And then you feel that, oh, maybe the gunslinger liked the idea of holding the gun more than killing, but we thought he loved killing. So uh, when you put things into these little buckets, you end up more often than not finding the bigger picture. So yeah, that is something what I've tried to touch upon in the blog post that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, it's much more than that. Like, it's not just about being complete. It's not just about being fulfilled. Uh, it's also about seeking, why we seek what we seek, right? So yeah, that is that. Obviously, this is not a take. This is not a hot take. It's definitely a very cold take. The weather is cold, so it makes so much sense now. Uh, but it's an interesting place to be, where you ask these kind of questions, because you notice that what is so obvious about us, and this is taking away all the lens, like generational, societal, cultural. No, person to person, it's so difficult to ask the right questions. You can't. Even if you are friends for like 10 years, sometimes you think twice before asking questions like, are you really fine? We don't ask these questions, right? Because we are afraid of answers. What are your thoughts on death? We are afraid. Let's not even get into the ugly side of politics. But sadly, people are more open about their politics, which is interesting. Uh, but I'll end this video on on a rather hopeful note that when you put all these questions into one box, you hear music. Now that is a very poetic take on a rather not so poetic subject, but let's go ahead with this theory, so to say, that you put all these questions about all these topics, all these incomplete things into one box, and then you hear music, and then you dance to that music because that's it. When it's your turn to dance, you dance. If you fast forward a video, any video, any video featuring human beings, you notice that when you fast forward it, everybody's dancing because uh, in some sense we are all dancing. Our dance steps are different, but we are dancing. And let's go back to the theoretical box. When you all have these doubts about incompleteness, homelessness, unfulfillment, discontentment, distress, and all these things that kind of gnaws on your sleep and makes you feel not so satisfied with life. That box creates a music which makes you dance. That is something that I want you to have a picture of. Now the interesting bit is you are dancing, right, as a response to that music. But the beauty of life is, from my limited understanding of it, is even if there is no music, you will dance when it's your turn to dance, because that's what we do. We all dance in our own ways, not even realizing that we have become so good at it.